Hey YouTube, this is the one and only Casher Mansion, and I'm back again with another live video. Please excuse me if y'all hear any noise. I got the fan on close by. Um, but in this live video, I want to speak about learning to forgive and move on from old past issues. Um, Yesterday I was just deep in thought about a lot of stuff, and I was looking through some pictures and videos on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'll admit that I allow a lot of old stuff to continue to bother me even till this day. I keep thinking about it. It be popping my head. I constantly talk about it, whether I'm talking silently to myself. Sometimes I speak out loud, and I am trying my best to stop allowing it to bother me and move on from it for many different reasons. I feel like um, I was going to make a post on Facebook about it. I'm going to turn this fan off real quick. I was going to make a post about it on Facebook, what, yesterday. Um, just thinking about a lot, like I say about like 2000 and like throughout my school years, that was crazy. Like, but I'll say, fuck you and speaking on school. I want to talk about after school. Like by 2000 and I'll say shit got super crazy by 2015. And I'll start off with already dealing with the mix of my stepfather passed away in 2014. Then eventually my mom finding a new love interest and a lot of stuff going on at that time. I tried to find ways to get my mind off a lot of shit that I was dealing with during that time. And it goes back to when I first started, when I first went to Delaware. I felt like going to Delaware would be that time to myself where I got somebody where I could go out with. I could get away from whatever issues I was facing in the house I was living in the neighborhood I was living in at the time. So, but the crazy thing about it is my cousin, who I was out with, she was going through her own issues. And I felt like by hanging out with her, it gave me some time to be out the house, be around a whole new environment. But it did get to the point where shit was depressing because I'm going through my own problems and then going around somebody that's going through their problems and trying not to mix my problems with their problems. So I started hanging out with my cousin Celia, and most of it was because she was there for me, or at least she was around. After dealing with my stepfather death and going to the funeral, she came to the crib, and her dad was at the funeral. She came to the crib and we talked and we chilled or whatever the case may be. And then it was like a while before I seen her again. And then I just reached out on Facebook to her, and then somehow I reached out to the baby father, and we became cool. And then it got to the point where, okay, I know he do tattoos. That's one of the main reasons why I was coming to it's like, look, well, maybe we all hang out and I'll come to Delaware and hang out with y'all. And that way I could get my tattoo because he don't charge a lot. It's gonna be my first tattoo, something small. And that tattoo was my first name above my ankle. And with our friendship building, it got to the point where he continued to do throughout the years, he continued to do every tattoo on my body, and I only had to pay for one. And most of it was because he was a tattoo artist who, well, like I said, they're going through their own issues, and he ain't really had too many people with a tattoo because he wasn't outgoing as much during that time. So I was trying to be supportive because I seen he had tattoo certificate, whatever the case may be, and I kind of like some of his tattoos. Um, Other than that, like I said, we tried our best to have fun, but there was a lot of issues that was happening. Um, actually wasn't too bad. I stayed for about maybe a month or a half a month in Delaware before coming back home. Um, it was pretty different. I mean, like everybody go through their own stuff, so it was different. I tried to make the best of it. We played video games. We played outside at times. Played in the house with the dog. I played with the kids. I chilled with my cousin's baby father, the little brother, the mom, my cousin herself. They had a friend over that he was cool. He was over for like a few days until the mom took him back home. I guess because they didn't want too many people. Well, anyway, it wasn't really that many people. But anyway, so when I came back home, of course we was all in a friendship. So the baby father, he was asking like, when you gonna come back down? I wanted people to hang out with me for my birthday, blah, 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 blah. But like during that time, it kept snowing. The weather wasn't the best. I didn't always have money for gas, whatever the case may be. And I didn't want them trying to find a way to come all the way down to Philadelphia to come get me. I mean, from Delaware to come get me and then get stuck. And I ain't got no way for them to get all the way back to Delaware. So I'm like, well, I gotta see when I could get some more money, when the weather is right, and we can hang out. They end up going to Florida for a short period of time. My bad, and then eventually they end up coming back to I guess Delaware, and they moved into a whole new house. Now I went back out to Delaware. I mean, my cousin had a whole new baby. She had their second child together, which was their second son. And she had a daughter from a previous relationship. So when they came to pick me up, the whole family came. The mother, my cousin, her baby father, his little brother, and they brought the children. All three of the children. We chill. They chill in my house. I introduced them to everybody who I lived with at the time. So we just in there talking, vibing out, kicking it for as long as we could, because it was getting late, and we had to head back to Delaware. Um, it's a lot. I don't want to keep because I keep telling y'all about this whole Delaware story, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But anyway, so I went back and I was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Cause don't get me wrong, we had a lot of fun moments. We had a lot of times that we chilled. I got Facebook videos to prove it. I got pictures and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure they still got pictures. I treated them like family. Even eventually helped my cousin get married because at the end of the day, where she got married at, they didn't give a damn. As long as you was family and you was old enough, you could. I mean, I signed for my cousin. I don't know how they allowed me to do that, but I signed for my cousin and the mom and his mom. my cousin baby father mom signed for him. They end up getting married, and that was a whole nother story. But like I said, they was there for me when I needed a friend to talk to and stuff like that, and I was there for them. But everything wasn't perfect, and I already spoke on a lot of situations when it comes to my YouTube videos. I spoke about it on Facebook as well. One of the big issues on why things wasn't going on during that time was because I felt because at the end of the day, when I first started hanging out with my cousin, Big Father and his family, he was already going through issues that I knew nothing about. I knew very little of because they told me certain stories, but they didn't tell me everything. So I knew very little of, and I was a newbie when it comes to whatever situations they had going on with certain members of my family. Certain members of my family found out that I was hanging out with my cousin and her new family because we eventually started posting stuff on Facebook, and they was still friends with her on Facebook, and she was posting them on her page as well as my, and I guess it was getting linked to my page. So certain people was in their feelings, and most of the time saying indirect shit through Facebook. But when I would go home, I see certain people pop up in my house, or I see certain people in person. Nobody addressed me. No one asked me questions. Whatever. It was all love. But it was kind of weird because like y'all wasn't hanging around with us all the. I mean, since my father's funeral, and now it's another time I come back to Philly, certain people is popping up, and I'm just wondering like why? What the fuck is going on? But yeah, it was getting to the point where it even when me, my cousin, her baby father and stuff was going through our own shit, it was getting to the point where one minute everybody arguing, everybody beefing, and then the next minute they'll wait until I'm beefing with my cousin, her baby father, and that side, and then they start befriending them, and then once we all cool again, then they go back to hate. So it was flip floppy as fuck. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt like my cousin baby father could be a troublemaker because he kept on putting my name in a lot of shit, and he won't tell me about the situations until I end up going back to Delaware, and he showed me certain messages where my name was brought up in certain shit. And I'm like, at the end of the day, this is my family. I don't know what the fuck y'all got going on because one minute y'all beefing, and then the next, when it's like when we beefing, y'all cool. But then when I start hanging out with y'all again, now everybody beefing again, and my name keep getting put up and shit. It was to the point where motherfuckers was texting me on Facebook, making threats, talking about coming to my house. Uh, a whole bunch of crazy shit was happening. And then I also was going to Delaware, and me and my cousin was beefing. Me and her baby father was beefing. The little brother was getting on my nerves from time to time. Then I had to, then, like, it was a lot. Um, But I kept going back, kept going back, kept going back. And the more I kept going back, I feel like shit was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But I never, ever, ever wanted to think that it would get to the point that it did when anyway. So anyway, I'll just put it like this. A lot of people may think differently. That's on them. All I know is I'll tell this story. It got to a point where, like I said, me, my cousin, her baby father, we had our beats. We had stopped talking through Facebook. We had blocked each other off social media. Then eventually we'd be back to friends again, and we had stopped talking. Then eventually we'd start being friends again. So during after a long time not talking, We end up reaching out back to each other. I end up apologizing because they never did. I end up apologizing for my part because they was always allowing shit to happen. Then it was always pointing fingers at me like I was a troublemaker and I was this and I was that. And they never took blame for their own responsibilities. So I got to the point where I was getting bored. I wanted to get out the house to get away from whatever I was dealing with at the motherfucking time. Reach out to them. My cousin like, oh, well, I got a short vacation. I want to take the kids out to the beach. I'm like, oh, that's what's up, because I haven't been to the beach in a long time since our aunt Jenna was living. I was very, very young. I would love to go to the beach. So she like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come pick. I mean, I'm see if me and such and such could come pick you up. I'm like, all right. Got my stuff ready, waiting for them to come pick me up. They come pick me up. I'm out in Delaware, whatever. Now, I was already had my own issues because when they told me who they was all taking, it was supposed to be me, the baby father, my cousin, the children. Oh, and another thing was they had another baby. They had their first daughter together by this time. So that was another thing where I wanted to end up meeting my new little cousin. Because since I used to help babysit and help take care, my cousin claimed that she was making me the godfather of some of the babies. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so dad tell me that dad's gonna take some of the kids who was old enough to be on the beach. It was supposed to be my cousin, the baby father, the brother, the childhood friend who I knew because we had hanging out at the house together multiple times. And I met him when I first went to Delaware. Then they had another cousin who I heard about but don't think I ever met before. He seemed real cool. He wasn't no issues at all. He seemed very cool. I ain't gonna lie, I thought he was cute too. But anyway, um but yeah, everybody's pretty much cool. It just got to the point where I felt like my cousin did her own thing and lied because uh when I got there, she ended up trying to add extra people to the trip. Now, at first, it was supposed to be a family friend who like an aunt to them. She was supposed to go, but she said she was sick and she'd just watch the babies that can't go to the beach until we all get back. But somehow her boyfriend, who I only met one time and didn't really know like that, he ended up getting added to the beach trip. So I'm kind of confused. Cause then eventually we just going out, it's taking us forever. Cause that same morning, me and my cousin was supposed to go get our nail done. And I asked her, can she get my nail done too? Since I was the only one who was comfortable enough with going to the nail salon with her, other than her mother-in-law. She was like, yeah, and I told her I'll just wait till I get paid and I'll get her a couple of dollars for getting my nail done. She like, cool. So we get up, we hop in the car, we go to the nail salon. Her baby father ended up calling her, rushing like y'all gotta come home. We got stuff to do, da da da. I gotta go make sure. I gotta go get my cousin and make sure that they know where they going. I'm like, oh. So she ended up telling me that we got to get up, we got to leave. So I'm like, well, why the fuck we couldn't just hurry up and get our nail done and come back? Like at the end of the day, you the main driver. He could wait. I'm pretty sure by the time we get there, ain't nobody ready. But of course, when he say jump, not saying he's abusive or anything, but when it comes to certain stuff, she'll take his side and listen. And then I'm just looking like, all right, well, whatever. Although I was upset because I really wanted to get my nail done. Anyway, so all they did was clip our nails. We didn't get our nail done. Um, And she ended up going the next morning by herself on some petty shit, and I'll tell y'all why. So once everybody was there, the brother and I mean her baby father and the brother rode in the car with their cousin and their friend. Me, my cousin, and the kids rode in the car, and the so-called aunt boyfriend rode in the car with us. So my cousin in the driver's seat, she's a driver. The boyfriend is in the passenger seat. I don't know why. He even went with us any goddamn way. That's a whole nother story that I was really uncomfortable about, but I'm not even going to disclose all that information on why he like anyway. So we get to the beach. We had as much fun as we could. We end up leaving. Everybody get back to their cars. Then I'm thinking that we dropping motherfuckers home and then we gonna go back to the crib. No. We end up going to the boyfriend's crib and he end up asking my cousin to use the car because I don't know him like that. He was making me uncomfortable. So I'm like, I don't ever want to go in his house. So I end up talking with somebody, I got a headache. I just want to lay in the car. I don't ever feel like moving. I don't feel good. Can we please just go back to the house so I can ask the mother-in-law if she got some medicine? Cause like I ain't never gonna lie, I really did have a headache, but it wasn't as bad as I was making it seem. I just ain't want to go in that man's house because he was doing too much and complaining about too much. But of course, my cousin allowed him to use the car. I'm outside. He goes in the house for a minute. Then he come back like I can't hear you sitting outside because my neighbors are nosy and I don't want to get kicked out. I end up going in the house. I'm mad shit because I don't have no shoes on. My shoes is in the back of the car filled with sand. He already complained about him wanting the kids touching stuff. If you eat, you gotta clean your own shit. Most of it was understandable, but at the end of the day, if you ain't want all this to happen, you shouldn't have went to the beach with us and we wouldn't have this problem. Cause he was doing too much. It's really starting to get on my goddamn nerves. Um so I end up just sitting in the dining room section of his apartment. And I just sat there quietly, ain't speaking. I mean, I ain't really speaking to nobody. I spoke very little to the aunt. Um, but other than that, we just chill. I guess he allowed everybody to, well, my cousin and the kids and stuff to hop in the shower to get the sand off of them and stuff like that. Then eventually everybody started coming back. We all in the port. We all at the crib. Then that's when the mother-in-law come. As everybody's ready to go home, my cousin and the baby father end up telling me and the mother, telling the mother to help get the kids ready and take them in her car. I'm defending her like at the end of the day, y'all know the kids ain't gonna listen to neither one of us, and I'm riding the car with her. So y'all need to pretty much handle your own kid. And somehow my cousin and mother, they was already in their own beef. So I ended up defending the mother. So now my cousin thought that she said something. I said, like, she ain't say nothing. It was me. Y'all always talk about somebody yelling at y'all kids, somebody pop y'all kids, somebody this or somebody that, and accusing us of doing so much. Y'all need to take care of your kids. So that started an argument. We arguing, leaving out the house. The mom take me and the kids. We ride the car. We make it home because they got an early bedtime. She like, once we get to the house, you just go in the separate room. Don't there and be around them. Just y'all separate until the next morning. By the next morning, I don't even remember how the hell we all made up, but everything was good by the next morning. Um, then it got to the point where, and this is the guy honest truth. Then it got to the point where the babysitting situation happened. Now, mind you, I've been helping babysit these kids since 2015 when I first went to Delaware and first met majority of everybody. And with babysitting, these my little cousins. So I'm gonna treat y'all as if y'all my own. And when they act up, of course I gotta be somewhat of a disciplinarian, meaning like if you act up, I'm gonna have to take toys away. You're not gonna be able to get what you want. You're gonna have to take a nap. You might have to face the wall for 2 minutes. And that wasn't always, that was sometimes because the other time it would just be take a nap. Your father gonna make you take a nap. You ain't gonna be able to play. You gonna have to lay down for until you get your act together. And depending on how bad the situation is, they might have gotten their hands popped or whatever the case may be. But it got to a point where my cousin, I'm not gonna lie, she used to allow the oldest daughter to be very spoiled, say what she want, do what she want, and be disrespectful. The other kids they was like, don't get me wrong, they used to act up and do bad stuff from here and there. But the older daughter, she was used to always being spoiled by everybody. So my cousin's relationship with her child is I feel like she spoiled at times, she spoiled her a lot more than the other kids and allow her to get away with a lot more than the other kids. Then, not to mention, I'm trying to watch the newborn at the time. My thing is, although I don't mind helping being a babysitter because I understand everybody's situation, I do it out of the kindness of my heart because I've been doing it for a couple of years, for a few years. Um, don't try to take my kindness for weakness because I'm going to speak about it. It got to a point where I had to be a little strict because I'm like, at the end of the day, y'all want me to be the babysitter, and I can't just allow the kids to do whatever they want and mess things up in the house and not say nothing or do nothing about it. Because it's like, what's the point of you babysitting if you going to just allow them to do whatever they want and mess the house up? They throwing toys, they might end up breaking stuff. They throwing something, and another one of the kids might get hit. Anything was more than likely to happen. And most of the time, when my cousin and her mother-in-law go to work, of course, I'm there with the baby father, and he think everything is funny. He usually allow the kids to do whatever they want and say whatever they want until he see I'm getting really, really, really mad. And I'm like, look, help me out here. It's not funny. And if they don't disrespect you, they damn sure shouldn't be disrespecting me. And you sit here laughing like something's funny. Then it got to the point where the little brother, he feel like he's always promised something. So now he don't want to go to school. He want to be there. It even got to the point where me and him used to get into little petty arguments because he's the youngest. And if my cousin is not riding in the car with us because she's at work and his mom is not riding the car with us, that meant I'm the next oldest because I should be sitting in the passenger seat while the kids sit in the back. But he would get to the point where he always wants to sit in the passenger seat. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm a grown ass man. What the hell am I sitting in the back seat for? The adults sit in the front, y'all kids sit in the damn back. And the only person I should be getting up the front seat for is my cousin, since that's his baby mom, his girlfriend, and eventually his wife. or the mother-in-law, unless she is a driver. But of course, there be times where I had to, he'd start getting on my nerves. Sometimes he end up getting the front seat, and sometimes I end up getting it. Anyway, it was a lot dealing with them, but everybody would act up because the mother-in-law be at work, my cousin be at work. The mother-in-law she don't get home till like around 5, and my cousin didn't get home till like around 10:30 or 11:30, I think. And I think it was about like was it 10:30 or 11? It was something. Um, so she used to try to make it seem like, I'm not gonna lie, she used to try to make it seem like somebody was just picking on the kids and just too rough on them or whatever the case may be. So she'd be like, "Oh, if y'all got problem with my kids, y'all let me know. Don't be too rough with my kids. Don't be doing this. Don't be doing that." And we're getting a lot of arguments, kind of like you making it seem like the kids are being abused. I love these kids like they my own, and I'll do anything for them. I don't have to. I could stay my ass home. I do this. I do this like kindness in my motherfucking heart because I fuck with y'all, and I love each and every one of these kids, and I will always be there for them. So she made it seem like that me and the mother-in-law was picking on her oldest daughter. She ends up sending the oldest daughter to some new found friend house until she got home from work. And there'd be times where she'd let she'd let the older daughter go to the friend house. Then she'd come home from work, drop her off. Like, I don't know, like it was a lot. So one day I'm upstairs watching their youngest daughter. It was getting hot. I'm gonna turn this fan on again. I'm watching their youngest daughter, and of course, when the youngest daughter is asleep, I'll come downstairs to check on the older kids while the baby father and the brother is down there. I try to help him with the youngest kids, and sometimes I bring his daughter down so he can spend time with his second daughter. His with his first daughter biologically, but his second daughter when it comes to the children, because he was the stepfather of. Y'all get the point. So yeah, she'd try to make so my cousin would try to make it sound like we picking on the kids, popping them, a whole bunch of shit. And I'm like, you're not about to sit here and make it seem like that I'm just some crazy person. Your kids don't like me. And every time I come over, I'm just super strict, like I'm on some mommy dear shit. That's not the case. But at the end of the day, if I'm the babysitter, I shouldn't have to be doing nothing. But I'm only helping babysit because your baby father is legally deaf. He's not gonna be able to hear everything and shit like that. So I'm just there to pretty much help him out when he don't know this certain shit. Y'all stay up all night, so most time he sleep. He's not gonna be able to hear the baby crying if the baby's in a whole nother room or whatever the case may be. I don't know how they handle it when I'm not there, but I still didn't care. I come to Delaware and try to help out as much as I can. So we'd be arguing. So like I said, most of the arguments happened because she made it feel like that me and the mother-in-law was constantly picking on the kids. So we got into a whole argument, and I'm like, at the end of the day, your big father downstairs, he should be helping me eat with the kids. I shouldn't have to do nothing. You already know the situation when the mother-in-law's at work and you at work. I gotta deal with the baby father and brother because they constantly get on my nerves and we beefing about our own situation. Then the kids around, they witnessing it, and he's allowing the kids to do whatever they want. And I can't allow that because I'm the babysitter. And if they acting up or doing something or saying something they're not supposed to, me as the babysitter, it's my job to try my best to get them to stop doing it with the help of their father since he's there. Um, but of course, he acts like everything is funny, and then so as his mom come, he tries to switch his ways. When the mom come, everything is good because now she's taking care of the youngest child, and we're taking care of we're helping with the older children until my cousin get home from work. Everybody's supposed to be in bed by 8, and then ate dinner. Da da da. Went to the park, did this, did that, whatever. But during that day, my cousin was constantly coming home. She got an attitude because although I was going through stuff with everybody, by the time she get home, me and the boyfriend cool, me and the little brother cool, the mom there. So now she home stomping because we didn't have an argument throughout the day, and it got to the point where I got mad. I'm like, well, fuck it, I ain't gonna help you watch the kids no more. I'm ready to go home because I do too much for y'all, and you're not gonna make it seem like that I'm not doing my job right. And I'm not getting paid or nothing. I'm just doing it out of kindness in my heart. So she really got mad because during that night, she ended up bringing two other friends over that I knew nothing about, never met. I don't know where she met these friends from, but she ended up bringing two other girls over to the crib. Then she ended up leaving, I guess, to drop them off home. She ended up coming back. Now she got an attitude. It started with her arguing with the mother-in-law, trying to make it seem like she going there around talking about some. She cleaned up everything. She's sick and tired of cleaning up after people. Nobody help her around the house. Nobody do nothing. All of this, all of that, and amongst other things. And then it got to the point where she ended up arguing with the mother-in-law. Then I ended up getting into the argument. And then it got to the point where it got so crazy that the baby father had to hold her to the kitchen because now she's trying to fight us. And the mother-in-law rushed me out the house. I was not. I mean, I had so much shit: cell phones, wigs, clothes, whatever. And everything was just all over the place. I didn't know where nothing was at. The mother-in-law ended up taking me all the way back to Philadelphia because it got to the point where everything got so crazy that people that who knows, somebody could threaten to call the cops. And Shane want me being part of the situation. So of course, when I made it home, I didn't go back to Delaware for a while. That was the last time that we was all in that house together. I didn't go back to Delaware for a while. When I did go back to Delaware, I went back to Delaware because my cousin, me and her wasn't talking, so you know that how that went. And me and the baby father wasn't talking, and he ended up blocking me with her because he claimed that she forced him to. Anyway, so I was still cool with the aunt or the family friend, and I was still friends with with the mother-in-law on Facebook. The mother-in-law ended up texting me out of nowhere, informing me that my cousin and her son separated. And I already was telling her I don't want to be part of that business. We not talking. I don't know how she act like she ain't know or not, but we not talking. They blocked me. I no longer talk to them. She like, oh, I'll talk to my son and I'll tell him to hit you up so he could tell you everything. And I'm like, okay. And she asked me, can I come back to Delaware to help with the kids? Now, mind you, I mean, I had a whole bunch of thoughts in my mind. I didn't want to think like, oh, my cousin gonna find out I'm in Delaware and stuff like that. And one of the main reasons, I mean, a lot of people will think differently, but one of the main reasons is because, like, at the end of the day, the mother-in-law, she did a lot for me that she didn't have to. So she finally asked me for a favor. I didn't want to take it as oh it's going to be risky. Oh, this going to happen. And oh, that's going to happen. I took it as at the end of the day, she did a lot for me that she didn't have to. And even when I ain't had gas money, she still was coming to Delaware. I mean, from Delaware to Philly to pick me up and get me out the house. And even at times when she'll drop me off home and I ain't had money for food because my sister be at work and my niece would be wherever she was, whether it's either at school or at my mom crib, she'd give me a couple of dollars or she'd take me out to eat with her and the person she is helping take care of, home health aide or whatever the case may be. So I end up going to Delaware, and it was supposed to be for a couple of days, just to help them out a little bit. And it was supposed to be like, well, they're not talking to my cousin no more. So yeah, a lot of people won't think it's paid because I was not speaking with my cousin, and then I'm in Delaware hanging out with her baby father and that side of the family. Now, mind y'all, what people don't know is at the end of the day, me and this baby father had multiple. Well, he didn't hit me up, having multiple times, having conversations like, what would ever happen if him and my cousin, because they used to argue a lot, and whatever the case may be, and he always asked me what would ever happen if him and my cousin ever was to break up. Will I still accept him as a cousin? Will I still accept him as a friend? Would we be able to hang out still? And I'm like, I don't know. It would be weird because at the end of the day, I'm only around you because of my cousin, and I met you through my cousin. And it is going to be risky with me still befriending you and being cool with you, but you and my cousin is not cool. I'm not together no more. And then you end up finding you a whole new girlfriend. I don't know. I never thought. I mean, they didn't argue a lot. So much happened, but they still remain. I mean, she'll make threats saying she's gonna leave and whatever the case may be. But that's their business anyway. So when I did finally get to Delaware, I found out a lot more to the story because I didn't see it as risky as what I end up finding out once I got to Delaware. But I was already in Delaware, so there's nothing I could do about it. I'm already there. And I had every choice to stay the fuck home. But at the end of the day, like I said, I one of the main reasons because at the end of the day, like I said, this woman did a lot for me that she didn't have to. So I feel like I could do this one favor for her. And then the thing is, it shouldn't be no wrong because at the end of the day, no matter what y'all got going on, that has nothing to do with me. You should be thankful that I took the time to be there to make sure your kid doing good, they are right, and they don't want our need for shit. Especially due to the fact that the mother-in-law got to go to work, and your baby father, he's legally deaf anyway. But their plan was for her to never find out that I was in Delaware with them. But eventually she ended up finding her out somehow, some way. And when she did, that's when all hell broke loose. I ended up going to Delaware for a couple of days. I ended up coming back home for a while. Then eventually, the mother in law needed me again. I had a lot of thoughts in my head, like, y'all, it's a lot going on. Y'all got the police involved. It's a whole bunch going on. I don't think I should be around this, but I just kept on thinking to myself, like, she did a lot for me. And these are thoughts I had in my head, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what nobody think. At the end of the day, yeah, y'all might say, "Oh, you being petty, you wasn't beefing with your cousin. I mean, you was beefing with your cousin. You probably did that shit to get back at her. If that's the way you think, I mean, that's the way you want to think, that's up to you. But at the end of the day, like I said, one of my main reasons was because at the end of the day, like I said, I had a close bond with the mother-in-law, and she did a lot for me that she didn't have to. So I feel like I could owe her this one favor. I wasn't there to cause no drama. I wasn't there to be part of the drama. And just like the multiple times they had their own little petty arguments or something would happen and the police were involved, I would remove myself and try to go into another room until one of the officers would say, well, they need to speak to everybody in the house to make sure everybody's good and try to get some type of understanding on whatever situation was. And most of the time, it ain't there, the situation ain't there had to. Most of it, I don't think most of it had to do with my cousin and her baby father. There was multiple situations that happened where the police end up being called. The police that had to show up at the house, whatever the case may be. I just chose not to speak on everything. This was way before the big breakdown. And I will try to remove myself from the situation. Like, yeah, I'm around it, but at the end of the day, nobody is hurt. They just got their own little petty arguments or whatever going on. No one's hurt. No one's physically harmed. So I mean, although I'm around it, it's none of my business. I'm not going to speak on it. I'm gonna just remove myself in another room, or I mean, until the situation is handled, because I don't want to be part of it. It's not my business. It's not my concern. But of course, but anyway. So I don't want to keep on, and I don't want to keep going down memory lane. What happened happened. It got to the point where I got caught up in Delaware because, like I said, man, because what happened happened. So I had a lot of stuff that was in Delaware that I didn't know where it was, personal belongings, clothes, stuff like that, and of course, I had to get my stuff. It wasn't just clothes and stuff. It was like personal stuff that I really needed, and that was benefiting me from being able to do what I got to do because majority of my belongings was in Delaware, and I was still trying to figure out. Oh, oh shit! I didn't want to do that. Hello, hello. What the hell? Hello? Yeah, in the living room.
Why just throw me? Why just throw me? Why you hit me?
Talking to everybody else. All right. Anyway. What the hell? Damn. Hello? Right here in the living room. All right, y'all, my bad. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it was just I just put it like this. There was a lot going on at that time, and like I said, a lot of people who listen to that side of things is going to think what they want to think, but all I can say is I know the truth. I know my main reason on doing the things that I did, and I'm not going to allow no one to accuse me of doing things that isn't true or saying some things that was never said. Um, and due to that reason, that is why I don't speak with to certain people no more. I don't hang around certain people no more. I don't communicate in person, social media, whatever. And this had been happening for years because I always felt like I had to protect myself in order to make the safest decisions when it comes to certain stuff. Because I feel like the people that had me around them and had me thinking that they got my back, they make sure I'm safe. I feel like now that I know what I know, they were using me to try to get me to do certain stuff that I would never agree with, no matter if I was talking to my cousin or not. At the end of the day, she was the only one who had her flaws. They all did. Every last one of them did. It was not just my cousin. They all did. But I guess they felt like that all the beef was towards my cousin because I'm hanging out their house. No, at the end of the motherfucking day, yeah, me and my cousin had our own fallout, as well as many other fallouts we may have had. But at the end of the day, that's still my cousin. That's still family at the end of the motherfucking day. Whatever y'all got going on is what the fuck y'all got going on. I'm just here to help y'all out with the babysitting. Anything else, and I ain't got shit the fuck to do with. No matter if I'm here or not here. And I wasn't always there because even with that, I was still trying to make my way to go to back to Philly because I had a lot of shit that I needed to do. So I would, yeah, I would go to Delaware from time to time, but most of the time I'm like, look, I could try to help y'all out as much as I could, but I still gotta go back to Philly because I got doctor appointments, I got shit I gotta do, and I'm in the mix of doing things. So when I'm free, I could try to come back out and help as much as I could when it comes to the babysitting. Now, of course, in the mix of that time, the baby father he ended up finding a new love interest and blase blase and so like I said, what happened ended up happening. Eventually, I just stopped going to Delaware because I just feel like now it's getting to the point where people lying on me, people put my name and shit that had nothing to do with me, and feel like just because I'm around that I know a lot more than I actually did. Not the case. So, um, so it just got to the point where I don't know if like going, I mean, speaking on everything that happened. I just got to the point where I just felt like I knew what I knew, and I had to remove myself. I end up blocking certain people off of social media. I didn't talk to them. Then it got to the point where I think like one or two, yeah, about probably like about 2 years passed, and then motherfuckers was finding ways to communicate with me. And the motherfucker that I refer to is my first. It was my cousin's baby father. He was communicating with me, thinking that my cousin wanted to find out, and then she ended up communicating with me, and through her it's how I found out that I ended up having to go back to Delaware. And at this point, before she contacted me and let me know, because they didn't tell me anything, the baby father or the mother, they didn't tell me anything. My cousin ended up contacting me, and she was the one who ended up letting me know that the detectives wanted to speak to me. By the time I got back to Delaware, I guess because now by at this point she knew that. I feel like another reason why the detectives may want to speak to me because at the end of the day, and I'll put it like this: they want to speak to me because my cousin. I mean, while I was in Delaware, I'll put it like this: this is one of my thoughts on why my cousin was going through whatever they was going through, and the baby father, he felt like if I was around, he'd be protected because he wasn't getting along with my cousin's father, who was also my cousin through my great grandparents and my great aunt. Anyway, because of certain situations where we end up being put in a situation, I end up letting my mom know or letting my older brother know. Not gonna speak too much. Anyway, so he had that type of thought in his head that if I was around, he'd feel a little bit more comfortable. They end up having to go to court for whatever reason. And he ended up begging me and begging me and begging me to go with him. And I had already told him I'm not comfortable. I don't want to be part of that situation. I just don't feel like it's right. But he begged and begged and begged until I eventually gave in. Once I got to the courtroom, they tried to get me to speak, but I refuse. I mean, well, my cousins and them, they tried to put my name. I mean, they not my cousin, the mother. I guess the mother-in-law had part of it, and the brother and my cousin, baby father. I mean, had part of it. They tried to put me in a lot of shit, and felt like since I was going to the courtroom with them, I was going to speak. At the end of the day, I didn't need to. I refused to, and I said I don't want to say anything. Just be happy I'm here. Um, my cousin ended up finding out because in the mix of whatever was going on in the courtroom, she ended up either hearing my voice or she seen me. But due to separation reasons, she couldn't address me. I couldn't address her, and I was trying my best to not even make it noticeable that I'm near. But she wasn't stupid. She ended up finding out, and once she found out, I would hear people on her side also noticing that I was there, and her must be telling them that I was her cousin, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, they were talking shit, and it was pissing me off. But at the end of the day, out of respect, I couldn't address it. I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even go to the bathroom because if I walked to the bathroom, they would know. I mean, that everybody would be noticing that I'm there, and I couldn't be nowhere around the other side. And the crazy thing about it is, in the court hallway, all we had was this glass mirror separating us. So we're on one side of the glass mirror. Is me, the mother-in-law. Oh shit! Hello, in the living room. Watching TV. Mommy wanted to go see Trina, so we all are downstairs in the room. Oh shit, you talking about somebody. Hey. Fuck. No. I'm gonna wait until he comes back. Hold on. Sorry, y'all, I'm eating. But like I was saying, people started reaching out to me. And by the time I was all going through my own stuff, because I mean, I was living in North Philly, then I ended up moving to West Philly. When it comes to my boyfriend, I said my boyfriend, when it comes to my cousin's baby father, he ended up hitting me up on Instagram. And he would keep asking. Now by this time, now you're apologizing. I miss you, cuz I love you, cuz I apologize the way things went the way it did. La 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 la. And he'd keep on telling me my cousin's business, and I'm like, well, if y'all not associating, and you're not supposed to be around her, and she's not supposed to be around you. How do you know all the stuff that you do? But then eventually it started clicking in my head. When he used to block me, on Facebook, he used to make catfish pages and had me thinking he's somebody else, so he could know everything I'm doing. And that's also how I found out about how he was screen sharing posts I made. His screen sharing posts I made, and These noodles are so nasty. I cooked them for too long, and it's not how I eat my noodles. They are so slimy. So I'm gonna tell y'all. So this how I found out. So one time, my phone was messed up. I think my screen was broke. My phone was messed up. I ain't had no phone. Same with my laptop I had at the time. So he bought a whole new phone and had his old phone. He took the SIM card out. So I asked him I'm like, yo, cuz can I use your phone? Cause I don't have nothing to do and I'm bored and I want to go on YouTube and stuff like that. And I see that you got a new phone, so you don't need. So can I use the old device? He like, yeah. He let me hold it, and I ain't gonna lie, I'll be nosy. So in the mix of taking pictures, I was on Facebook and I wanted to take pictures. And as I tried to upload my picture, all the rest of his pictures and stuff started popping up. So I looked through and I see a whole bunch of screenshots of messages of me and him having conversations together, and even screenshots of posts that I know I made during the time that he was supposed to have blocked me. So that just shows proof that he was making catfish pages, pretending to be other people, and the whole time it's him. And he was making these catfish pages so he could see what I was saying. I don't know what the hell he was using it for. So I got mad and I ended up resetting the phone. So now that put the icing on the cake. He mad at me and him arguing. Then his mom found out. She like, why you reset his phone? And I'm like, at the end of the day, I feel like I feel like he on some real weird shit. Why the fuck is he got all these screenshots of messages that I sent him? Messages of conversations we had together, and then screenshots of my messages as if he trying to use that as some type of evidence. This motherfucker gonna lie and say that was around time him, and my cousin was arguing, and she would tell him to screenshot my statuses and conversations we had together and stuff like that. But I'm not stupid. A lot of shit was clicking in my head. And I guess he felt like if I wasn't gonna be part of his plan, he was gonna try to find a way to get me into some type of bullshit too. But then I fucked him up because I reset his phone. Not saying that I got anything to fuck to hide, but it's just a point where I'm like, at the end of the day, where's your fucking point of screenshotting statuses that I made on my page or screenshotting conversations that me and you had together? Like, you're really on some weird shit. But yeah, so he'd tell me a lot about my cousin business and a whole bunch of other things. And then he started to get mad because I wasn't getting him the reaction he wanted. Then he'd start talking to me. He don't feel like he could trust me. At the end of the day, like he just saying a whole bunch of stupid shit. Then it got to the point where he'd keep asking, could I hang out with him? And I'm like, at the end of the day, yeah, we could talk on social media, but I just don't feel comfortable enough with putting myself in that situation again to hang out with anybody. Like a lot is going on, and I just got to make the smart decision. Same with my cousin. She ended up reaching out to me, apologizing for stuff. And the only reason why me and my cousin hang out, because at the end of the day, like I said, we're family, we're blood family. And one of the main reasons why we even seen each other in person again because I was living at my aunt's house at the time. I done told my aunt about the situation. My aunt already got first glimpse of the situation I was in with the Delaware crew, and she still decided to do what she wanted to do, but that's a whole nother story. And I was living with her at the time, and she ended up inviting certain people that I was trying to stay away from. And since it's her house, I couldn't do much about it. So that pretty much was that. Hold on. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Yeah, so that pretty much was that. And I ended up seeing my cousin in person. The closest I did is I went to a supermarket. I hopped in the car and went to the supermarket with her. She kept asking me, did I want to come to her house and hang out with her and her new boyfriend? And I end up trying to find ways to decline the offer. But I think I've seen her about once or twice as she came over to my aunt's house. And then eventually my aunt invited her father. But at that time, I didn't moved on, so it wasn't no beef. Everything was good. Nobody even brought up past issues. So I was still hurt. I was pissed off. But at the end of the point, I'm just like, at the end of the day, the past is the past. I need to learn how to move on because at the end of the day, situations could have been a lot worse. And I'm very thankful that I got away when I could and when I did remove myself, I never went back because in the other time I keep going back. But I'm just like, not this time. It ain't got to the point where police is involved, people's lives is being put in jeopardy. It's getting to the point where like it was just a lie. It was just a lie. So anyway, it just got to the point where when it comes to my cousin, she'll post certain stuff on social media, like on Instagram or whatever the case may be, and I like it. And we had a few conversations in the past, but they was very short. But when it comes to the people, to her big father and them, I don't. I mean, I haven't talked to them in years. I just feel like it's no reason for us to talk, no reason for us to communicate. Everybody doing their own thing, and I'm just going to continue to think smart and not try to put myself in situations that could eventually end up dangerous. I'm not going to, like, I'm just not. I'm loving everybody from a distance. At the end of the day, like I said, I still see. I mean, I still see that side as family because, of course, that's my cousin's father and grandma and whoever, and uncle and whoever else. But it's just at the end of the day, we just at the end of the day, they side, and it's just me myself. I got to make the safest decisions and stop chasing after everybody. I mean, there's no current beef. Then trying to get, trying to, trying to get over that situation. It got to the point where I was living in North Philly. It was me, my sister, and my niece. Then it got to the point where we end up getting evicted out of my stepdad's house because my mom moved out. She ended up finding a new love interest. She moved out. My brothers wasn't none of my brothers was there. It was just me, my sister, and my niece. And we lived there for as long as we could. Then we ended up going to my aunt house in West Philly. They eventually went their way and I got left in West Philly. Now, mind you, that's a whole nother situation. Um, I never did want to live in West Philly. I just felt like it was too dangerous. I was never comfortable. I didn't mind like spending the night or going there just to visit or whatever the case may be. But when they came to living there, I had already been in West Philly long enough, and then it got to the point where situations happened that made me feel like, all right, West Philly is not the place for me. But the only reason why I even moved to West Philly, because I felt like there was nowhere else for me to go. Couldn't go with my mom. North Philly wasn't an option. So the only person that didn't mind taking me in was my aunt at the time. But no, I mean, at the end of the year, we had like just like Delaware, we had our good moments. We had fun. We went out. We did things from time to time. But it's only when motherfuckers had money. When motherfuckers don't got money, that's when the misery, the depression, the anxiety, and the bullshit come. I felt like there were times where I wasn't being treated fairly. I feel like there were times where I was being forced to do shit that I wasn't comfortable with doing. I was forced to be around people that I didn't want to be around, amongst many other damn things that happened. And I had to face that for 3 years. I'm not going to speak too much on a lot of shit that happened that I didn't approve of, but I lived with my aunt, uncle, and cousins in West Philly for 3 whole years from 2019, 2020, 2021, and then by 2022, I took the opportunity to move back up north to live with my mom. Um, it just got to the point where I just kept getting sick. I wasn't going to the doctors, wasn't going to the dentist. Didn't know if my medical was on and off. The only time that I ever made it to a doctor was nonstop trips to the emergency room because I had fluid being built up in my body. I was having breathing problems, my sugar level, blood pressure level, vitamin D, a whole bunch of situations was happening, even to the point where I could have been dead several times. I kept having asthma attacks and all types of stuff. I mean, and it even gets to the point where I got sneaking my cousin room and use the nebulizer or use whatever type of medicine that she had for herself or her son, hoping that it would heal me so I could get through the day and not always have to go to the emergency room because I ain't had money to go to the store. I ain't always had money to go to the store and get medicine. And a lot of people at times were stingy when it comes to using inhalers, nebulizers, and whatever other medicine they may have had. So yeah, my cousin used to allow me to sit in her room when she was outside, whatever. I'll ask her to sit in her room by myself, or whatever the case may be. And in the mix of sitting in her room by myself, just to get away from whatever was going on. I would sneak and she had medicine in there, and I sneak and try to take some when I wasn't feeling my best. Or I would try to sneak and use a nebulizer when I couldn't breathe. And it just got to the point where I just sick and tired of living my life like that. So once I moved back to North Philly with my mom, I was able to go to the doctors. I was able to go to the dentist. I was able to go to the eye doctor. I was able to do a lot of things that I wasn't able to do in West Philly. And now, with all of this going on, I'm still in the mix of trying to get everything together when it comes to SSI. And when it comes to SSI, and make sure my food stamps is good, my health insurance is good, and a whole bunch of other things. And the only thing I'm really having an issue with is the SSI part. I'm just waiting for the judge and everybody to make a decision on if they going to cut my benefits back on or what they going to do because it was just a lot. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Anyway. Um It's just sad. Like I feel like I was going through a lot, and it just got to the point where like too much was going on. I was going through shit in Delaware. I was going to shit in North Philly, and then living in West Philly was a pain in the ass. Um, Before I even moved to West Philly, it was times where I'd be sitting in the house by myself with nothing, no electricity, no food, nothing. No hot water, nothing. I just be in the house all day and all night by myself. No cell phone, no laptop, no tablet, nothing. Nobody to call, nobody to go to. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of people that was still on the block, but although we grew up, we know each other and grew up around each other for years. And I wasn't that comfortable to the point where I would ask some friendly favors or whatever. I try to make it seem like everything was still good. Um, and then I ain't had no family in North Philly to go to. So that's why my only option was to end up going to West Philly and move with my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins. But anyway, YouTube, I'm about to get off here because I've been here for a long time. I'm gonna come back and talk more. I'll get back to y'all later.